Hey lovelies, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for stopping by again. And if this is your first time on the channel, you're definitely welcome. Do what to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so that I get to see more of my content. And in today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make this stylish and cute jumpsuit. And without further ado, let's get started. So right here guys, this is the material that we're going to use for this tutorial, and here I have around 3 yards. And to get started, I'm going to be using the pattern paper to draft our patterns. And the first part that we are going to draft is the upper part, that is from the shoulder to the waistline. And online, when you see the variation of these dresses, you can see some comes with v-neck, some comes with overlap, all right? And in this tutorial, I will just go ahead and do the one with the overlap. So what I will do first of all is just to create an allowance of 2.5 inches on the pattern paper. First of all, I'll mark this all the way down on the pattern paper like so. And having done that, I'll just go ahead and fold in the allowance like so. And having done that, I'll go ahead and indicate the start line right here. And up next, I'll go ahead and indicate the waistline from the shoulder to the waist, all right? And for this tutorial, I'm going to be using 15.5. And I'll also go ahead and add 1/2 inch allowance for joining. And the next thing to do is to go ahead and create the neckline. And for the neckline, I'm going to use the width of 3 inches, all right? And for the back neckline, I'm going to use the depth of 1 inch. And I'm going to connect the points together to create a round neckline for the back. And for the front neckline, I'm going to come down by 7 inches, and I'll just indicate that here. Then I'll connect the point together to create a V-neck. So right here we have the neckline for the back, and here this is the one for the front. And right now the next thing to do is to indicate the shoulder divided by 2, and I'll just indicate that here. And after doing that, we are going to go ahead and also add our sleeve measurement there, and here I'm using 12 inches, all right? And the next thing to do is just to come down from that point by 1 inch, and we are going to link it up to the neckline. And having done that, the next thing to do is to create the sleeve opening. So I'm going to come to this part here, and I'm going to come down by 10 inches, and I'm going to link both points together on a straight line like so. And having done that, the next thing to do is to come to the waistline and impute 1/4 of the waist circumference, and I just indicated that here. And the next thing to do is to add allowance, all right? There is split on the upper part of this dress, all right? So I'm going to be adding 3 inches for the pleating allowance. You can add more than this for you to have a very bold pleating, all right? I added 3. You can go ahead and add up to 6 inches for the pleating allowance, all right? And I added 1 inch for seam allowance. And the next thing to do is just to connect to this part here. I'll just go ahead and mark a straight line from the sleeve opening and connect it to the waistline like so. Then I'll just go ahead and create a curve around the armhole like so. And having done that, you can just go ahead and cut out this pattern. And having done that, this is what we have, and I'll just go ahead and use this pattern to cut the back piece. So right here, I just placed the pattern paper on the material, leaving about 1/2 inch at the center back, all right? And I'm just going to go ahead now and cut it out. And right here, this is the back piece after cutting it out. And here I left 1/2 inch for joining at the shoulder, and also 1/2 inch at the back. This 1/2 inch I left at the back is really not necessary. You can go ahead and cut the back on fold, then slit a little bit of the neckline for the head to pass through, since there's no zip on this jumpsuit. I hope you understand that. So right now we're just going to place the back piece aside, and we're going to work on the front piece, all right? So I'll just go ahead and open up that part where we folded earlier on, okay? If you don't want this overlap, just go ahead and use a v-neck without the overlap, all right? So the next thing to do is just to go ahead and extend the neckline to the allowance that we have right here. And so I'll use a straight ruler to connect it. So here I wanted a more perfect slant line, so I'm just going to go ahead and reshape that slant line that we have there using a straight ruler. And having done that, I'll just go ahead and cut off the unwanted part. And the next thing to do is to go ahead and use the pattern to cut the fabrics. And so right here, I've used the pattern to cut out the front piece, as you can see. All right, I added ½ an inch on the center and also at the shoulder line. And the next thing to do is to go ahead and notch the center front, okay? And when you open the front piece is going to overlap like so. And right now, the next thing to do is to cut the upper part, which is the trouser part. And right here, I have the pattern paper for the front piece. And the first thing to do is to go ahead and indicate the trouser length. And for the trouser length, I'm using 42, and I'll just indicate right here. And having done that, I'll go ahead and add extra 3 inches to that and also indicate with a straight line. And having done that, I'll come up here and I'll just go ahead and indicate the start line. And next, I will indicate the crotch length, which is my hip divided by 4 plus 2 inches. And in this case, that is 12.5 inches. And I'll just indicate with a straight line across like so. And so right here, we have our crotch, and here we have our waistline. And right now, the next thing I'll do is to go ahead and mark 4 inches allowance line all the way down, right? I'll measure 4 inches from the start of the pattern to the end of it, all right? And I will connect it together on a straight line. Guys, you see this 4 inches line is for pleating allowance, and it's totally optional, right? You can decide not to add it or add about 1 to 2 inches, because at the end of the day, the trouser was very big, but I wanted pleatings around the waistline. They're actually pleating on the style inspiration, but it's not as much as what I have on mine, okay? So you can decide not to even add this 4 inches, or if you are going to be adding, just add about 1 or 2 inches. And having done that, guys, the next thing to do is to come to the crotch line here, and we are going to impute our hip measurement divided by 4. And I'll just go ahead and indicate that here, and I'm going to add 1 inch allowance to that. And having done that, I'm going to measure what I have here on the crotch line, and I'm going to duplicate it on the waistline, and I'm going to go ahead and connect the point together on a straight line like so. And having done that, the next thing to do is to indicate our crotch extension. So I'll just go ahead and divide my hip measurement by 16 inches, and whatever value I get, I will indicate right here. And next, I'll create the crotch curve. And next, I went ahead to measure what I have here on the crotch line, and I'm going to go ahead and put that on the hem of the trouser, right? So I have around 15 inches on the crotch, and that is what I indicated on the hemline. And I'm just going to go ahead and connect the points together like so. All right, you can go ahead and -1 from what you have on the crotch line, 1 or 2. All right, or you just put whatever value you have there on the crotch line, depends on how big you want the hemline to be. All right, and having done that, this is what we have. And the next thing to do is just to go ahead and cut the pattern out. And on the waistline here, I'm going to add ½ an inch allowance for joining. And right here, our front pattern is ready, okay? And the next thing to do is to use the pattern to cut on the fabrics. And that is exactly what I have done here. So as you can see right here, I've used the front pattern to cut on the fabrics. And the next thing to do is to use the front pattern to cut the back pattern, okay? And to do that right here, I place the front pattern on the back pattern, as you can see right here. So up next, I'm just going to come to this side here, and I'm going to go upward by 2 inches, and this is to give room for our butt. And I'm going to link that point to our existing waistline in a slant manner like so. And having done that, I'll come to the waistline here, and I'm going to come down to my hip line, and I'm going to indicate it like so. And right here on the hip line, I'm going to come outward by 2 inches. And on the crotch extension, I'm going to use the same extension we have on the front piece. I'm going to use it for the back piece. And I'm just going to indicate that here. And I'll just go ahead and mark a straight line to meet up the crotch extension. And having done that, I'll just go ahead and connect the points together. And having done that, I'll just go ahead and add 1 inch to the inseam all the way down. Then I'll connect it together on a straight line. I'll then remove the front pattern, then cut the back pattern. And so right here we have the back pattern, and the next thing to do is to use the pattern to cut out the fabrics. And right now the next thing to do is to go ahead and cut out the band. All right, after cutting the upper part and the lower part, we need to go ahead and cut the band. And right here I have these fabrics on fold. Okay, and for the band, I want the length to be 2.5 inches. All right, so here I'll go ahead and measure 3.5 inches, so that after joining we would have 2.5 inches. Okay, and that is what I'm just measuring here, and I'll just connect the point together on a straight line like so. And up next, I will measure the waist divided by 2, and I'm going to add 2 inches sewing allowance to that. And right now I'll just go ahead and cut out the band. And having done that, I'll just go ahead and cut through the folded part here. And so right here we have the band for the front piece. Okay, and in order to cut the band for the back, we are going to divide our waist by 2, and whatever value you get, you are going to multiply it by 2.5 inches. And right here, this is the back band. I went ahead to multiply my waist by 2.5 inches, and here I have gone ahead to cut the band, and it's the same length as that of the front, which is 3.5. all right, and this is what we're going to use for the back band. And I also went ahead to cut 2 pieces of this band also, and on this band I have around 44 inches. And so right now we have both the band for the front piece and also that of the back piece. And having done that, guys, the next thing to do is to start sewing. All right, and right here this is our front upper piece. Okay, and the next thing to do is just to go ahead and fix the neckline. Okay, we're going to fold and stitch it. You can use bias to stitch the neckline. Okay, and for the back piece, I'm just going to go ahead and join, you know, the ½ inch that we left there. All right, and I'm going to leave some inches, about 6 inches to 5 inches at the upper part here for our slit. Then I'll go ahead and finish the neckline also. And right here, guys, that's exactly what I've done. I've gone ahead to join the back and also leave opening for the slit. Okay, I also went ahead to add button loop and also button on the back, as you can see right here. And right here, this is the front piece. I've gone ahead to finish the neckline, and I repeated the same process to the other piece here too. And right now the next thing to do is to go ahead and form pleats on both of the pieces. All right, and right here on the back piece, I'm just going to go ahead and run gather stitch on it, and I'm going to make pleats on the back piece. Okay, so right here, guys, at this point you might want to go ahead and trim a little bit off the waistline of the back piece. All right, remember that both the front and the back half length are not supposed to be the same. Okay, the back is supposed to be shorter, but I forgot to do this, so you can just go ahead and trim a little bit off it, if you understand what I'm saying. And if you don't know how to do this, you can just leave it as it is. So after pleating the back, we're also going to go ahead and also create pleats on the front piece. All right, and the pleats on the front piece are going to be big ones. Okay, they are not going to be tiny pleats. And right here, guys, that's exactly what I've done. I've gone ahead to create pleats on the front piece. All right, and after creating the pleat, I overlay both piece together and run a straight stitch on it, okay, so that both front piece are going to be one, okay. And this is what the front piece is looking like right here. All right, and I've gone ahead to do the same to the back piece. I went ahead to run gather stitch and then create pleats on it, as you can see right here. And right here on the front piece, we are going to go ahead and attach the band to it, and we are going to stitch it. And we are going to stitch the other piece of the band to the other side. So in essence, we are going to sandwich the front piece in between both of the band. Here is the back band. I went ahead to stitch both bands together so that we have one piece here. And the next thing to do is just to go ahead and run our elastic thread on it, okay. So we are going to leave about 1 inch to 0.75 at the top and also the down part. Then we are going to go ahead and run elastic thread all the way through it. And right here, this is it after smocking the band. This is what we have, all right. And the next thing to do is just to go ahead and attach this band to the back piece. And right here on the band, as you can see, I have excess there, okay. So you can just go ahead and multiply your waist by 1.5 or 2 inches instead of 2.5, okay. So right now, I'll just take it to the sewing machine and stitch both pieces together. And right here, guys, that's exactly what I've done, as you can see right here. And I've also gone ahead to join the band to the front piece. And right now, the next thing to do is to work on the lower part. So I'm going to take the front piece and I'm going to align it right side facing right side. And I'm going to join the crotch together. And I'm going to repeat the same to the front, to the back piece, all right? And that's exactly what I've done here. I've gone ahead to join the crotch of both the front piece and the back piece together. And right now, the next thing to do is to go ahead and run gather stitch on the waistline so that we can go ahead and create our pleats. And right here, that's exactly what I've done. I've gone ahead to create pleats on both the front piece and the back piece, as you can see right here. And right now, at this moment, the next thing to do is to join the upper part and the lower part together. So I'm going to repeat it for both the front piece and the back piece. And right here, guys, that's exactly what I've done. I've joined both the upper part and the lower part together, as you can see. And the next thing to do is to align both the front piece and the back piece together, right side facing right side. And the first thing we're going to do is to join the shoulders. And after joining the shoulders, we're going to also stitch the sides. And right here, guys, that's exactly what I've done. I've gone ahead to join the shoulders together. I've finished the sleeve opening, and I also joined the sides together, as you can see right here. So the next thing to do is to go ahead and align the inseam, and we are going to stitch the inseam. And having done that, we're also going to go ahead and finish the hem of the trouser. And having done that, our jumpsuit is ready, and that will be the end of our tutorial today. Thank you so much for watching till the end. Do want to give this video a thumbs up if you find it helpful, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.